With that, this is September 18th, 2023, 6 p.m. It is the LWIA 23 quarterly board meeting. So Chair Gerald, when you are ready, you can call the meeting to order.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We would like to start off with the roll call, please.
Okay, Gerald,
Present.
Jim Bowen. Yeah. Kevin Binker. Casey Burkholder. Present. Kevin Butcher. Brian Cannon. Pat Click. Mike Conrad.
Present.
Sandy Gators. Kathy Iders.
She's online.
Carolyn Jordan.
Yeah.
Mandy Martin. Josh McElravy. Julie Overmark. Roy Shelley for John Perry.
Present.
Lori Foreman. Present. Deb Reed. Nate Smith. Chris Stroll. Here. Tim Taylor.
Here.
Carol Tracy. Here. Aaron Hacker. Jason Warble.
Present.
Courtney Yaki.
Present.
Austin Zwilling. We've got a quorum.
We have a quorum. Thank you. All right, with that, we'll move on to item 2, introduction of new members. Jamie.
I would like to welcome Roy Shelley from Corners Distributor representing Effingham County. Here for John Perry for now, but then as of October 1st will be first official on the books as a board member. So thank you for being here. You want to say anything, wave, do a little dance?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Awesome. And then Aaron Hacker should be here shortly.
On his way.
Tony, can you mute your?
That's not mine.
It might be from that TV. All right, so Aaron Hacker should be here shortly. He is new. He is the TANF representative from the Department of Human Resources. He's officially the Assistant Local Office Administrator. And then, Lori, would you be able to introduce Kelly?
I would. I would like to introduce Kelly Denton. Kelly is going to be the new director of workforce program here at SAS. I am retiring effective December 1st. So this will be my last meeting with you all. So this is Kelly. I don't know if you want to say a few words or.
Just looking forward to learning and working with everyone. So just be patient with me.
All right. All right, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Lori. Anyone? You pretty good?
I think we're good now.
All right. So item 3, review of approval of the local or the June 12th minutes. There is one addition that Nancy made me aware of. When you look at the third item, others present, Nancy was present last month. So can I have a motion to approve those minutes with the addition of amendment of Nancy being present? All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. Okay.
Who seconded it, please? Was it Lori? Okay,
Yeah. Sorry.
distracted.
We're trying to get a quorum for our next meeting and it's not working out really
Yeah,
well.
well, we're focused on this. Okay.
I'm just looking ahead.
Yes. All right, so item 4, any conflicts of interest on any of the entities we have this evening? I don't believe there will be. We need to make that known. All right, if not, we'll ask Jamie to introduce our guest speaker, please.
Jerry Kachuk, the Director of Effingham Education and Regional Extension Centers at Lakeland College, is here tonight to talk to us about the Effingham Regional Career Academy. And you can give me just a second. I might remember how to share a screen like I just did a few minutes ago. Why am I paused? Let me try again.
What'd you do? I should tell them what you do. I don't know.
Apparently, she's got the quorum in the next meeting.
Did you make me like not host? or-
I don't think I'm a host.
It says you started screen sharing.
Yeah, but on my screen it says it's paused and it won't show that screen. Hold on. Let me try. I am.
So do y'all know that if you put socks and shoes on a bear, it will still have bare feet?
From those.
I'm gonna use that tomorrow in school.
Help yourself.
Jerry, what do you call a happy cowboy?
Love it.
A jolly rancher.
Very dangerous. Started.
Jerry's a million of it. You know this.
I bought some hard copies.
You might have to give me one more chance. I think I might, maybe, possibly. It says it's loading. And now I will make it not so ugly too, maybe. Not that you made it ugly, Jerry, sorry, I mean, like that, there we go, okay.
So, if I look familiar to any of you in this room, some of you have actually spoken at Chatham County and Clay County, Effingham County. For the rest, I was the principal at Altamont High School for 9.5 years. So you may have seen me at a basketball game, a volleyball game, any of those events. Some years ago, Dr. Bullock came to Lakeland College and was greatly concerned about the lack of vocational education available in his district, particularly at the southern end. He met with a number of superintendents and principals. We started to come up with solutions at about the same time. My superintendent volunteered me to serve on a CTEC committee, construction trades committee, meeting with a bunch of contractors complaining about the fact that their employees, when they came to work, couldn't read a ruler, had trouble adding fractions, didn't know how to cut wood. We put together a class then, instead of using instructors, through a traditional vocational center that used facilitators, and allowed Wenty Plumbing, who was on the original committee, to bring in his plumbers and teach students, and allowed Bob Schultz, who was on the original committee, and Marty Stock, all brought in their people to teach students about electricity and about plumbing and those things. And through the course of that class, we watched as those contractors would walk up to a student with certain skills that they liked. They put a card in their pocket, and a number of those students are now working for those contractors who were actually teaching the classes. That steered Dr. Bullock and the rest of us away from the idea of a vocational center, more towards the idea of what we now are calling the Career Academy. You can see the mission on the board. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to change it. The mission of the Career Academy is to provide sustainable pathways to high skill, high demand careers for high school students, adult learners, and incumbent workers in order to attract, retain, and grow area businesses. Being a former K-12 administrator, I want to put education at the forefront of this. Earlier today, when I was looking at the WIOA mission statement, strengthen and improve our nation's public workforce system and help get Americans, including youth and those with significant barriers to employment, into high quality jobs and careers, and help employees hire and retain skilled workers. These two things are a marriage. We didn't know it at the time, but the more I get to talk to Jamie and get to sit with Jamie in meetings, the more I'm learning from her. The vision of the Academy is pretty much along those same lines: to deliver an innovative, skills-based, sustainable educational model for career exploration and training of students. And you can read the rest, because I hate when people read their PowerPoints to me. Okay. The ERCA is committed. There are 6 bullet points. I want to emphasize just a couple of them. That first one, again, that is right in the wheelhouse of WIOA. That is essentially your mission statement, which we put as our #1 commitment. If you look at creating a collaborative relationship between regional high schools, colleges, and employers, I will tell you that the greatest challenge we have had so far is not between business and education. It's between education and education. The rules for K-12 and the Illinois State Board of Education and the Illinois Legislature and the Illinois Community College Board and post-secondary education have been the biggest hurdle we've had to overcome. But the key to this whole process, the difference between a vocational center and a career academy as we see it is, we're not necessarily bound by all the restrictions of Illinois State Board of Education. We don't have to have a licensed teacher. We can have facilitators. And getting them temporary licenses when you're very good friends with a certain regional office of education superintendent like Julie Wallerman, you can get, she makes it easy to jump through all the hoops. So we've bypassed some things to make this far more flexible and easier to play with. Providing relevant curriculum and appropriate resources to meet the needs of our diverse population of workers. This is gonna focus a lot on student, and I will tell you that the high school portion of this has been a great focus, but I don't want anybody in this room to lose sight of the fact that this career academy is beyond high school. It's about adult and incumbent workers as well. So as we're gonna meet in October, there can be a lot of words changed that I'm changing tonight. So the last one on the bottom bullet point, providing a return on investment to our regional business partners. Yep. This is all about meeting the needs of business, period. And meeting the current needs of business. Next slide. There it is. You've already heard this, so we'll move on. The next slide, sorry, but some of this is a little bit repetitive. On this, the benefits, the two I would point out, establishing a career, multiple pathways for high school students, incumbent workers, and adult students. Some students in high school might choose to jump right into dual credit courses through Lakeland College, receive enough credits in their junior and senior year from the Career Academy that they'll be able to complete their associate's degree at Lakeland 1 year after high school, if that's the path they choose. Other students don't know what they want to do, but they know they don't want to go to college. We have classes that will cover that. And then they might choose to go dual credit associate's degree, or they still may have questions in that second year. They might just want to continue to explore careers. The other piece, highly flexible training space that is adaptive to evolving industry needs. I was at a farm last year. Any farmers in here? Anybody married to farmers in here? I heard about this drone. It's huge, this drone. And they can fill it with fertilizer. And instead of dropping that fertilizer from a plane or a helicopter, they can fly that drone that far over their crops. And the coverage is second to none. Problem, you have to have an FAA license to operate that drone. It takes 6 weeks to get that drone license. Give me 10 farmers that are willing to split the cost, we'll get the trainer in there, and 6 weeks later, all those people will be trained how to operate those drones. And can minimize their cost by selling that person to somebody else who didn't jump in. That's the highly flexible part of this. We'll be able to meet needs quickly because, yeah, lock finger or something, because we're not bound necessarily by a lot of rules. The 5 career pathways for the Career Academy: agriculture, transportation, manufacturing, technology, and healthcare. These were picked probably 8 years ago because they were the greatest employment need that we had. And as careful as we've been, it has only been just recently, before actually I went to Clay County on Tuesday night, that we realized that under transportation, we weren't talking about railroad. This is Effingham. There are train tracks everywhere. And we had left that out of our discussion. And the need for railroad engineers grows by the day. One of our favorite things is as we looked at these 5 areas, we started to realize they're not independent silos. They're like a web. They actually interconnect. There's no reason to expect that in agriculture, they won't need to learn some welding skills. The only one we knew about was healthcare. If you need welding in healthcare, it's probably too late. But the other thing was, one of the biggest needs, CDL drivers. CDL. There's one silo it never came up in. It made us all giggle. But when we talked about flexibility and responsiveness. Bonnie Moore with the Center for Business and Industry fired up our CDL program, and now there are 100 people on the waiting list. She can't, we could be training more if we could find more instructors. It's that big right now, and it happened that quickly. These are the 14 schools who have signed a intergovernmental agreement. Wow, I said that right on the first time, to participate in the Career Academy. That's significant for a couple of reasons. One, we want to de-emphasize that E. This is a regional career academy. You're WIOA, so you already know this. Most of the people that work, and I'm going to argue maybe the largest employer in the area, come from outside the county. So that's why we're meeting in Shelby, Cumberland, Jasper, Clay, Fayette. We're out talking to their county boards to bring them up to speed on this, because it's going to benefit people in all those counties. The other piece is the state legislature passed a law, we love these laws, that said that every school in Illinois has to offer vocational education to its students. That's great, except it's expensive and there's no vocational teachers out there. Well, by agreeing to participate in this career academy, every one of those schools can check the box. They never have to send us a single student. We hope that's not the case, but they never have to send us a single student. Their students have an opportunity to participate, and that's all the statute requires. Sometimes we fool the legislature. Our strategic plan is already at work. You're going to find out later because there's another slide that we're going to skip over. This is already in place. We're meeting, in fact, Wednesday afternoon. For our, I don't even know how many umpteenth meeting. The foundation is set. We're a charitable organization. We have curriculum. Ike Nuoso, our academic dean, right? Did I get that right?
Vice President for Academic Services.
Vice President for Academic Services, has worked with our division chairs. We've got our curriculum ready to present. It's all set to go. Marketing, quite frankly, that's why we're here tonight. That's why we've been out to the counties. This is our marketing. We're now putting this out. The only group we haven't spoken to that we're going to be working on are parents. We'll be meeting with counselors and students the first week of October. By the way, Effingham County Manufacturing and Trade Skills Day is October 5th. It's a Thursday. It will be the 10th anniversary of that event. So plan on coming out. Where are we stuck? Right there. The foundation would like to establish $4 million foundation. If we can establish a $4 million endowment, no student will ever have to pay for a single class. Dr. Bullock's vision is that no student will ever have to pay for a single class. I've been asked by business, well, how's he going to make that happen? Well, if anybody would like to write me a check with 2 commas, I will take it back and we will be done. Obviously, we're going to be looking at grants, funding opportunities. We'll be talking to the state of Illinois. We do know that some years ago, to build a new building, $7.5 million was put into, starts with an A, was appropriated and never released. It's still there. It's number 2 on the list. So if anybody has friends in Springfield, tell them if they would release that money to the Career Academy, we might not ever have to ask for another thing. Now, last year we started an Explore RCA class. This is what we talked about before, one of those pathways. For students who know they want a job but don't know what they want to do. Students come in for 6 weeks, they're in the classroom, we bring in people to talk to them, but we also talk to them about all those soft skill things that jobs, that employers tell us they have to have. How to be on time. How to deal with conflict. What it means to be at a job. There were 14 students in that class, limited to Effingham County schools only. This year, we've had to expand to a fall and a spring class because there are 28 students enrolled. We've doubled the enrollment in 1 year. That's what's going to happen when this Career Academy gets going. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. For the last 10 weeks of their class, they're out in the businesses, exploring. Just like happened with CTEC, we had students that we thought were going to be nail pounders who ended up going to college to major in civil engineering because they enjoyed that part so much. We had a young lady in this class, I'm not sure which one. Go to HSHS St. Anthony's to explore healthcare. Loved the accounting department so much. She is now at Illinois, majoring in business, majoring in accounting. And we are working with St. Anthony's to offer her an internship and bring her back to work for them in the summers. We're moving into the Patterson, what is now the Patterson Building. It will be the Lakeland College Effingham Technology Center. This building is going to house multiple things. We had a meeting with the architects today. Very productive meeting with the architects today. This is going to house the Career Academy. It will house Lakeland College classes. It will house adult and incumbent worker training. We're hoping somewhere in phase 2 or 3, probably 3, there will be a STEM museum for kids, K through 8. I've said this, I apologize to the people that heard this before. If I was talking to people, if we were all what we wanted to be in kindergarten, I'd be speaking to a room full of cowboys and princesses. Long about 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, students start to take a serious interest in what they want to do. This will allow them to explore those options. The last piece that we look at for this is it's a regional training facility. We know, if we're to believe the government, then in just a few years, we're all going to be driving electric cars. That means we have a number of mechanics who will be in their late 40s. We have no idea what to do with those cars. But if Dan Hecht wants to draw a big radius, 75 miles around Effingham, and bring in all of their mechanics and bring in a trainer, they will be able to, as you'll see in a little bit, how they're going to do it, train at this facility. And now they'll all be ready to fix electric cars. As we said before, this is the slide. The foundation is set. We're good. The building and curriculum design are underway. The full curriculum will begin August of 2024. New exploratory classes in each of these 5 areas. Very important that we have big discussions with our businesses about apprenticeships and internships. We talked about students coming to this for free. Well, if we can convince them on internships and apprenticeships for the students, they could cover that cost and pick up the work. Chris and I have talked about the fact there's a diesel repair shop that can't find anybody that wants to work second shift. Great. Come get the kids that are in our diesel mechanics program. Give them apprenticeships and internships, help pay for their school, and tell them when they're done, they're going to come work to you for X number of years until you get it paid back. And by the way, no argument, you're going to work second shift and you've taken care of your problem. The other piece for businesses to remember is the dual credit coursework. Lakeland College has any number of courses already available to businesses for training, whatever might be your need. When you look in the catalog as a business and you see that it's available, if it's taught by a Lakeland instructor, which we can do through the academy, it's $1,000 per credit hour. Stop. That is not per student. That is per class. If it's a 3-hour class, the instructor will teach it to anybody in your business that you want to send to that class for $3,000. I don't know what you would pay for trainers, but it seems like a pretty reasonable cost if we already have the course. I don't think the embedded videos are going to work. We talked earlier about why this is going to happen, how this is going to work. Everything is going to be virtual in this academy. We've had to have the discussion with people who seem to think that to do a mechanics class, we need bays and we need lifts and we need toolboxes, and the floors won't support that, or they don't seem to understand. They're asking for a grand piano. Because in their minds, to do mechanics, you have to have a grand piano. We're going to give them a Yamaha keyboard. The beauty of the Yamaha keyboard, it sounds like a piano until you push this button. Then it sounds like an organ. So you push another button and it sounds like a kaleidoscope. Calliope, sorry. Former band director. When our students come in, those students we talked about exploring, rather than standing behind a rope where it's safe and watching somebody work on a truck, we can bring them in and we can put on the goggles and say, kids, we're going to fix this engine today. Kids We're gonna give birth to a horse today. Put on the goggles. It's not about seeing it, it's about doing it. And the other reason that we don't need things like big bays and those sort of things, they already exist. And our employers are begging for workers. Great, we'll send them to your business. Space augmented reality training, please ignore that number, don't hold us to that. There will be certified industry credentials with this. Transfer VR virtual reality trainers. The welding simulator. You weld until you think you got it, you flip a switch and you're really welding. It goes back and forth. So you can test your skills live. Where am I now? Okay. The incumbent worker, Center for Business and Industry. Short-term training, we argued about what ST stands for. Certifications, apprenticeships, corporate academies, all this is available to our incumbent workers. Somebody who's been a mechanic and they have too many mechanics, but they want to become a body shop person, great, come here, we'll get that taken care of. We saw Swingler building the new building in Teutopolis last year. And when we had to leave, when we were told they were gonna have to take a week off, while Swingler brought in electricians to wire the building. And on the bus, the kids looked at me and said, so why didn't Swingler just teach one of those kids, one of their employees, to be an electrician? And they wouldn't have to hire the job out. It's like, you're starting to get it. There will be ISBE courses, we'll match up to those things. Hellbox CEO, the classes that already exist in Effingham County will be welcome under our umbrella without losing their autonomy. The virtual training lab we talked about, and the last piece is the Makers Lab. That's the science museum that we talked about. I'm told that Rockford has the best science museum for children in the state of Illinois. They are soon to have the second best science museum in the state of Illinois. That's what a Makers Lab space looks like. So you can see, you can't find the big heavy equipment. It's not there. The other beauty about this building is the system of walls is going to be called DIRTT, D-I-R-T-T. You can look that up. They're all movable. So this is, if you're old enough like me to remember the open school concept of the 70s where there were no walls, and you've been to a convention center, even this room that has the closable walls. This is like next generation closable walls. They'll have all the technology, all the electricity, everything within those walls, but we can open up classrooms to labs as our needs change. What they're going to put up in the Patterson building is going to be so far forward thinking, it's ridiculous. We've been working with Jamie. As you saw those 5 areas, those 5 silos. 3-4 years from now, we will have courses in hospitality. We will have courses in childcare. We're looking to work on road construction. We're talking to the Department of Natural Resources because Patterson has a huge outdoor footprint. And I didn't know this. I don't know if you know this. A friend of mine works for Utz Architecture. He's a former superintendent who told me right now the greatest shortage in Illinois, architects. Got anybody in high school looking to go to college? They know what they want to do? Architects. We're working on that now. Our next 5 silos are already being developed. That's my presentation. Are there any questions?
So when will it be open? I'm sorry.
The Career Academy will open August of 2024.
So are there other counties that will be included?
Yeah, well, there are 14 to 14 schools that are participating. So there are 6.
From Mulford County.
Well, and we were asked this question at Clay County. They wondered why North Clay was the only school from Clay County that was participating. And my answer was, I don't know. So will Clay City, will Flora be invited? I always get in trouble. There are rules that I don't always have explained to me. And I'm not much of a rule follower anyway. I was a band director. So Chris will tell you I was 2 weeks into the job when she said, you need to find a break and just step on it a little bit. So there's no question in my mind that if schools want to participate, one of our concerns, North Clay, and North Clay is developing some vocational classes from what I understand, or excuse me, Newton, I'm sorry, is working on, they have an automotive class. That's great. We don't expect students from there to come for automotive. they're kind of a long way away. Not that they're far away by the crow, but by roads. It's only 2 lanes. It's not an easy path to get here. So our concern is the further away we get, the more difficult it will be. But if we can start utilizing those further out schools, if a student from Flora found it easier to get to Newton, and Newton had the ability to allow those students to come over and participate. Some years ago, Effingham has no ag. They had students that really desperately wanted an ag class. They came to Altamont, we put them in. So it's possible that we'll be expanding to more schools, but this may become a satellite function as well.
So what are you doing to identify the needs of the companies, of the businesses and then not only, because I know it has to be huge as far as all the things that we as business owners need, but then to prioritize.
We sat down last February and had focus groups with all 5 areas and had employers from all 5 of those areas sit down and tell us what they saw their greatest needs were at the time. Those will continue. Businesses will be at the table. The meeting that we're having on Wednesday is not just educators. There are businesses that are on that committee and they're keeping us informed. Jamie's on the workforce readiness committee. I've got to keep my committee straight. She's on the workforce readiness committee, which is the part of the ERCA that's working. She was the one that provided us when we said childcare and hospitality. She gave you bam with the numbers. In 5 years, there's going to be a 20% need in that area. In 5 years, there's going to be a 14% need in that area. So we're getting it from everywhere. Quite honestly, we're going to get a lot of it from you as to what we see the future needs being, and then sitting down with the businesses in that area to say, okay, how do you want them trained? Now, we're not going to produce plumbers or diesel mechanics. We're going to produce people with skills and with those soft skills, so that when you see Career Academy on that resume, you'll know I don't have to train this person on I can get them started on some things ahead of somebody else. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Good. That was a good question. Anybody else?
Until you get the endowments or the funding, then tuition will still be.
Effingham County, the Effingham County Board was generous enough to give us enough funds to get us through the first year. So we're working on expanding those funds to continue that into the next year. So the first year is okay. After that, it's scary, but yeah, all kinds of things can change. Like I said, if the state sees us and likes us and supports it and just releases the money that they appropriated some years ago, we're in great shape. The other counties, the other 6 counties, the other 5 counties that we haven't spoken to them about funding yet, but that's not my place to discuss. So I'm gonna dodge that question very smoothly by saying, if I get too far over my skis, I'm going to be in trouble. So funding is the concern. And like I said, Effingham County was generous enough, just like the Effingham City was generous to get CTEC started. Effingham County has been generous in getting us started. Now we need help.
This is so wonderful, you know.
We think so too. You wanted me to talk for 4 hours, Jamie. Did you really still want that to happen?
I told you 3 days. This is a 3-day conference.
Jamie knows me. If you need to get in touch with us, get in touch with Jamie. I do have cards if you want one, but thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jerry. Very good, very encouraging, very encouraging. All right. So we'll move on to item 6. Committee reports. We'll start off with oversight and planning. Mike, or does Chris get to do this tonight?
This one tonight. Jamie will fill us in on all the fiscal pieces whenever she gives her report. We did have the Lakeland College audit, and Debbie provided the information to the Lakeland College audit. We haven't heard anything back from them. There is a new funding opportunity, and Jamie, some of you were on a call with Jamie last week. There is some additional dollars that Jamie had sent a request out. If you had any programs that you were looking at having funded, the requests were due on Friday, I think, is that right?
They were. So if you didn't turn them in by Friday at 5 o'clock, I'm not going to entertain your requests at all.
Yeah, right.
I still have not looked at them, so there is time to submit them before I go through the pile. Please, any ideas?
One of the other areas we looked at was our adult education program at Lakeland College. We added a couple of additional sites, so that was an amendment to our APC plan. And we looked at those locations. They didn't actually fall within our LWA, but they fell within our college, so we shared that information. Tony talked a little bit about the board recertification. Those are due on September 30th. There may be one or two people that are outstanding, and Tony will catch you with a hook before you leave tonight to get all the things signed that you need. Do you want me to stare at the person?
No, I already got it.
Yeah. Right. And that concludes my information for Planning and Oversight Committee.
All right, thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Okay, you, Lori.
We continue our adventure as we kind of reinvent ourselves. And today, during our meeting, Jamie had prepared an activity for us where she actually shared 4 different scenarios. And they were actually real life scenarios. So it was very cool. She had set up papers for us and challenged us to be able to share what resources we would use to support those individuals. It was a great learning for all of us, as we've got a very diverse audience sitting in there and the things that we learned. So as Jamie called that was phase 2.5 as we continue our journey to get to our action items. So we're very excited about it though, and we're having great conversation. I feel like we're moving forward. And then, of course, Lori Jennings, who's retiring. I'm sorry we didn't have cupcakes today. If I had known, I would have brought cupcakes to Lori. She told me I couldn't sit by her anymore, and I didn't know what she was talking about. She said, 'cause I'm not going to be here. And then Elaine reported on the activities for the program youth and shared very specific information in regards to the measurables there, which are very encouraging. And that was pretty much our meeting for today.
All right. Thank you, Lori. All right, Kevin, you're up.
Consortium meeting met earlier this afternoon. And we had agency training, on my staff and the outreach. Cindy Mayer did training on our outreach services and homeless services that we provide here at CFS. Jamie did this business service update, and she'll explain that in her report. Lori Jennings did our one-stop operator report. We are one-stop operator are doing other cross trainings. They did with July, August, and September, and more planned for the rest of the year. And they will be doing an application for the American Job Center. We'll be working on October 31st. And numbers for July through our one stop of 190, in August 195.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Does anyone have any questions for anyone that's given the reports? We do not have an executive report, only because we did not have an executive meeting. Okay. So with that, can I have a motion to approve all of these reports, please?
Make a motion.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you. Do I have a second? Courtney, thank you, Courtney. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, well, for now, I've got stepping in just instead of 6, I'm going to 7, I'm going to 6A. Or we do the service provider report.
Wait. We're gonna do that for fiscal agent. So let 7 go and that will be 8A. How about that?
Okay, we'll do that. So let's go ahead and move on to 7 and do the service provider report from Laura.
Last one. I can do it. I can do it. Summer went really, really fast for us. It seemed like we just had a meeting in June and here we are. We as staff, we met with Hopes and Dreams of Paris on July 21st to discuss the youth work experience program and just how to better collaborate and work with them to better serve the homeless youth in that community. Tony and I, we went to Kingery Printing back in August. We met with their representatives where we talked a lot about on-the-job training, how to work or work experience program. So we had, hopefully a few things will come out of that meeting. So that went very well. Our staff has just been really busy over the last summer months, doing a lot of recruiting for the fall semester. We had 44 new enrollments across adult, participated worker and youth program. And classes started in August, and we're looking forward to spring semester. So we are already recruiting for spring semester. We've got waiting lists. We are doing some short-term programs right now, a lot of CDL. So if you know of anybody, have them contact us. We'll get them on the list. And looking ahead, next month, Erica Roderick, our Personal Achievement Award winner from LWIA 23, she's going to be honored at the IWP luncheon that's held in Springfield every year, along with all the other state award winners. So it's a very nice honor for her. Hopefully, she will be able to attend. Staff, we continue to attend the IWP, the Illinois Workforce Partnership meetings, and the Illinois Workforce Performance Work Group Task Force meetings every month. And as of August 31st, we have 234 customers receiving career and training services throughout all the programs. We haven't had any customers active this program year to date. And closing out program year 22, LWIA 23 met or exceeded all performance measures across adult dislocated worker and youth programs. And there have been no layoffs, line closures, or rapid response events to report. And we still have an online application that's available on the CFS website. So if you would know anybody that might be interested in training, just need a little more information about our programs and services, they can go to the CEPS website, look up Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, and we've got it broken down by adult dislocated worker in our youth programs. And finally, we do have a Facebook page. Our little gal that runs that for us, she does a really good job. So like us on Facebook, it's under CFS WIOA, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And that concludes my report.
Very well done. Thank you. And we congratulate you on your retirement. You will be missed. Kelly, now you know how to do a report, right?
Yeah, reported it.
Very good. We look forward to working with you as well, Kelly. Thank you very much. So we'll correct my mess up and Jamie wanted me to announce that September is Workforce Development Month. So we have a proclamation. I know you all may want to get your picture with this plaque, I'm sure, to put on your wall in your office, but we did recognize that this is, LWIA 23 has recognized this also as Workforce Investment Month. So Development Month, I'm sorry. So just so you know, it's been signed, sealed, and delivered. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. Yes, September's Workforce Development Month. So that is the overall theme of the fiscal agent report today. There's tons of events going on. It will recur on a bunch of these slides, so just be ready. Like Lori said, Erica Roderick, you all voted. She is the success story from LWIA 23, and she will be featured at the IWP meeting in October. So yay, Erica. To look at incumbent worker training, we are already hitting the ground running with incumbent worker training projects. We have done something we've never done before in budgeting $200,000 this year for incumbent worker training. And we kind of were worried there for a couple weeks at the beginning of the fiscal year, like, oh, that's a lot of money. But the projects are already rolling in. There's a lot of good stuff going on right now. We're very heavy in manufacturing. I would love to see that diversified more. So as you are out and about in your communities, working with business and industry leaders, and they talk about trainings that they need to do to upskill their current staff, please reach out to Tony. Let's see if we can get an incumbent worker training project going on, especially in those industries outside of manufacturing. So we finished up finally the PY22 monitoring results with DCO. Back in May, they came to CEPS on location, and then there was even someone at Lakeland to look at all the fiscal stuff. So for about a week, we had DCO just combing through everything, and they sent out a final letter in July on the 7th, and we responded July 20th. Overall, the result was good. There were 3 findings. The first finding was very general, and they said your one-stop certification does not meet requirements, but the 2 years before it, that same certification met requirements just fine, and there was no detail as to what they were talking about, and they couldn't tell us what they were talking about either. So Tony went through with a comb and found one box that was not checked. We assumed that was the problem and sent it back, and they they accepted it. So I guess that was that one box that they did not catch the 2 years prior. Then findings 2 and 3 were some things that they found in files, but overall, just 3 findings out of all of the files that they combed through, and the extreme attention to detail that they paid to everything in those files and all the questions they asked. I think this was a very good result overall. Very proud of the end result of that. We'll have a kickoff in November, I think, for monitoring, so we'll know when to expect it for next year. It'll probably be April or May. Then just, it's a wrap, the end of plan year 22 notes. We spent 93.2% of our Lakeland budget. We were under budget by 25,000. Our key metrics for the 21 grant was we did not meet our youth out of school 50% metric. We traditionally are expected to 75% of our youth participants need to be out of school youth and 25 in school. During the pandemic, we did get a waiver, so it was a 50-50 ratio, but it's really hard to find out of school youth who are ready for the program. So we did not meet that 50%. But we are now working towards it. So going forward, we should get a little closer to balancing that out. And then another part of the youth funding stream is that at least 20% needs to be spent for youth work experience. We did not quite meet that 20% either, but again,
Just so you know, just to correct you on a positive note, we did meet it for the 21. It's the
it's
22.
the 22 that we're not.
Yes.
She did tell me that, and I thought I fixed it, but I didn't fix
So we did
this
meet
up
it for
here.
21, so.
Is that
So-
something that the academy can help us with?
Well, if we get them the right time, maybe. We can definitely see. I think partnerships are the way to increase participation in any of our funding streams for sure. So just looking at our training versus overhead, the goal is to always have at least 50% going to training. We are well, we have tons of cushion there. 66.2% of PY22 was training. All of our MOU billings for the last year have all been received just in time for us to start billing out for the next year. Incumbent worker training, we paid out 111,000. We carried over almost 27,000. And so as of right now with those projects we just showed, we still have 190 available for PY23. So we have this really cool opportunity that came like out of nowhere and is a super quick turnaround. The DCO released a notice of funding opportunity for PY23 supplemental state funding. So what had happened was we have for many years said that WIOA can do so much more, or the workforce board, the workforce partners can do so much more if we just didn't have all the regulations of WIOA. WIOA is great, but it's very strict in what you can do, when you can do it, and how you can do it. So couldn't we do so much more if we didn't have all these restrictions? And someone listened, because then some general revenue funds just appeared out of nowhere. And DCO gave this opportunity to the LWIAs that you can apply for. For us, it would be up to 269,000 of general revenue funds to do all those things you wanted to do and couldn't because WIOA is so restrictive. Now you have no restrictions. Go have fun, except all this money has to be spent by June 30th of 24, and the application is due October 1st of 23. So last week I did reach out to our consortium committee and beyond, anyone who is a workforce partner. What are you guys doing that is really cool and innovative that we can help expand or enhance? Or what are you in the process of getting going, or you've just reached a hurdle and it's been funding? How can we help you in a new and innovative way that we haven't been able to do before? I think we could have a lot of great discussion of new innovative things that we could start brand spanking new, but we don't have the time for that. So this is our chance to show what we can achieve when we support our partners in this new way. And if this is successful, then DCO is hoping this will allow us more similar opportunities in the future. So no pressure, just do all these amazing things you've always wanted to do in a very short amount of time. And just your whole future rests on this. So we had a nice little webinar type meeting with our partners. We've gotten some really good requests. We're gonna go through them this week and try to come up with a plan of how we're going to have a competitive application so that we can try to get all 421 of those dollars to LWIA 23 to support our partners in new ways that we've never done before, and hopefully open the floodgates for us to have some more flexible funds in the future. So I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to give you guys an update when everything is said and done and submitted. The application is due October 1st, but once it is approved, we can backdate pre-award activities to July 1st of this year. So we have July 1st to June 30th, but still time is of the essence. So good things coming. I'm super excited about it. Speaking about grants, we do have the Apprenticeship Navigator 2.0 grant. It has been awarded. We have it, $89,000. This will allow us to hire a new WIOA business service specialist. Nate Carlson, our Apprenticeship Navigator, left August 11th, I think. He moved to New Jersey and now he's doing some contract work with Northern Illinois University. So that leaves us without apprenticeship specialist, and I need some help with business services because businesses have a lot of needs and I don't have a lot of me. So we did interviews last week and we are hopeful to give a, what are we giving them tomorrow, Tony? An offer. We're going to give an offer to a candidate and hopefully that candidate will accept so that by Lakeland's next Board of Trustees meeting, we will have a new WIOA business service specialist. So that grant will pay for the specialist. The goal is to have 10 new registered apprenticeship programs by June 30th of this year. That specialist will serve the business service team as a staff member. We also will be implementing Salesforce CRM to help facilitate and organize all of our business service outreach. And we will also hopefully have some more TPM collaboratives and have our new business service specialist TPM certified as well. So lots of good things going on with the Navigator 2.0 grant. Once this year's up, June 30th, July 1st, the next 4 years of apprenticeship funding will be formula funding. So we will get a certain amount that's predetermined. But then I got the little birdie mentioned, there will still be a competitive aspect too. So there will be recurring formula funds for Navigator for 4 years, and then possibilities for additional competitive funds. Speaking of talent pipeline management, we are still working on talent pipeline management. It has come to kind of a pause since Nate's left. In August, we had collaborative meeting with manufacturing and we kicked off the IT collaborative. Both went really well. IT could have gone better because we only had 1.5 businesses show up, but there was a lot of interest. So we're gonna regroup and try again with IT. So far, a lot of what we're hearing from manufacturing and even just some of our one-on-one conversations with businesses is there's a lot policy-wise going on right now that they wish that they had more voice in. So that is kind of built into talent pipeline management strategies is as we get these small and medium-sized businesses together into this group, that will be able to amplify their voice and they can speak as one to make some changes. And the best way that that is going to happen is our CEOs, our chief elected officials in the room. You are the advocates for these talent pipeline management collaboratives. So when they come to us and they have these policy needs or something that needs to be changed, this is going to be a reoccurring item on the CEO agendas that we will definitely be reaching out and need your help as the chief elected officials in the areas to amplify their voices. And like I said, manufacturing, we're still in the demand planning stage. That's strategy 2 going into strategy 3. IT collaborative, we're still kind of in strategy 1. Healthcare, we've really already done strategy 1. We just have not moved very far with that one yet because of time and availability, but we will get there. And then our hopes are to get collaboratives for education, TDL, and building and construction as well. Then I just want to say thank you to those board members who have retired or are retiring. John Perry has retired, Connie Waldrop, and Pat Click. So none of them were here today. But if they were, I would have told them, thank you very much for your years of service. Winning Workforce Solutions Summit 2020. This is the business services team's chance to get in front of local businesses to say, hey, we're here. There's a ton of resources and support available for employers and businesses in Illinois. But it's kind of all over the place and it's a little hard to navigate. It might be overwhelming. There's so much going on. The business service team is where you can go to start. All of the workforce partners have so much to offer to businesses, and we're coming together to let them know we're here as a team. And we're here to listen to what they need and help them find something or create something that does help them. So on September 26th from 9 to 11:30 a.m. at Kerners, we will have the Winning Workforce Solutions Summit 2023. There will be guest presenters on reentry population and talent pipeline from Department of Corrections. There will be UI law judge, and there will be apprenticeship and partnerships amongst the community and education and industry to where we're all working together to, achieve the same overarching mission. So I'm sure you have received this in your inbox like 6 times. I'm sure you've seen this on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, a million times, but please share with your business networks. They can register at Eventbrite. I am going to try to have this live streamed on Zoom, but also you've seen my technological skills, so I'm not banking on that quite yet, but it just might happen. So definitely share the link, get them to register. It's free. Come check things out, hear about some current issues in the workforce and some potential solutions, get some light refreshments and do a little networking.
Does that say 10 o'clock?
It is,
Because this says 9.
and this is not going to go backwards now, is it?
So-
It's 9 to 11:30. Yes, it's a little small up there, but 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And this is in celebration of Workforce Development Month as well. That's why it's why we're doing everything in September. Then, like Lori was talking about, the Illinois Workforce Partnership Awards is October 12th, 11 to 2 p.m. at the Crown Plaza in Springfield. If you would like to attend, I highly encourage you all to attend. The lunch was okay last year, but the content was really exciting. I can get you the registration link if you are interested in going. Then, in honor again of Workforce Development Month, WIN Workforce Innovation News, we have a 3-part mini series in celebration. Part 1 was on the Winning Workforce Solutions Summit 2023. So I'm sure you've all listened to it 3 times and shared it with your networks just to hear more about what to expect at the event and all of the big plans we have for next year already. Then as of tomorrow, I believe, our episode on industry partnership with CTE will feature Robert Woolen from NAL and how he partners with career and technical education, both secondary and post-secondary. And then a little sneak peek, our 3rd one that will come out the following Tuesday, our very own Lori Poorman is on to do a little highlight of her as a LWIB member and learn a little bit more about her as a person. So all of these episodes have been really fun and exciting. It is hard to do 3 episodes in 1 month. So please, if nothing else, download at least once and listen. I will let you know on average, our episodes are getting about 55 downloads per episode. Our highest or most popular downloaded episode got 98 downloads. Overall, the entire podcast has over 16,000 original listens. Those they can't track by episode, but they can tell overall 16,000 original listens. So that's not just me listening to myself over and over again every day. It's out there, people are listening, but yes, download, please share the episodes. If the Video's not too bad. I put it on YouTube, so you can always watch me there again too. Good things going on in LWIA 23. The Business Navigator Alliance had a really good webinar with Crawford County on housing. So the slides from the presentation are available on the website, and you can definitely check it out if you were not able to make it to the webinar itself, but it's really cool to hear that we all are facing a lot of the same challenges, but when someone is out there and they're making a difference, it's like reinvigorating, and it's good to see somewhat another area find something that's working so that we can try to replicate it in another area too. So good things are happening there. Check it out. Almost done. I'm so close. Regional Plan 2024 to 28. It's coming up. So there will be a WIOA stakeholder event for employers and businesses on the 26th. I know everything's happening September 26th. So there is a webinar 12 to 1:30. I can get you the link if you want to attend. I probably already sent it out, but I'm happy to resend it. The state has, or is almost done with their state unified plan. So they're putting it out there to get input from local employers and businesses. Once the state has their plan all nice and tidied up, then they are going to give us some guidance for our regional plans. So there will be webinars on October 11th and then November 15th, I believe, to get ready. So by end of October, beginning of November, we should have a timeline for our own regional plan. So just be ready for me to reach out to each of you for your input and your participation in our 4-year plan.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
for the 26th there, do you know how they're gonna organize that? Will they have breakout rooms virtually, or do you have any insight to how to provide input there?
I have no idea, but I can do some digging. I'll look and see if they've given me any details, but not that I can recall. We already talked about board recertification, local performance negotiations with DCO may or may not be happening about this time of year. I think it's next year, and I just left that in from last year. Winning Workforce Solutions Summit, September 26th, the IWP Luncheon, National Apprenticeship Week is November 13th through 19th, so get ready for that as well. Service provider RFP is going out in December, and then December LWIB meetings are on the 11th. Like Lori said, like and follow us on social media. We are at LWIA 23. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And there, now I am done. Any questions for the fiscal agent report? Awesome, thank you
Well done. Thank you. A lot of information.
so
All
much.
right. No tests later. All right. Tony. You're up.
Just an informational item on here unless somebody wants to volunteer for it. The one stop over here in Hoffman has to be certified every 3 years. And it's basically an 18-page document the DCO sends out with a bunch of requirements that the one stop and all the partners have to follow. They change it about every 3 years, so they're gonna send it out. They're supposed to be out before October 4th, I think Chris said. So anyway, does anybody want to be on that committee? I didn't think so. Okay, so anyway, so it's gonna be me, as far as the policy says, it needs to be the board chair and board staff. So Gerald's gonna do it, and me and Jamie are also gonna do it. So we will fill out the paperwork, discuss any items that we need, and we'll probably bring it to the December meeting for kind of a ratification that we're gonna certify, this board has to certify that one stop with being in compliance. So that's gonna be your committee. And if anybody wants to join us, get a hold of me and we'll get you on the email list.
Or want to kick us off.
Or,
All right.
okay,
Also-
that being said, we'll just keep moving on. The RFP committee, is that okay with you, Gerald?
Go for it.
Okay, so SEP's contract is up June 30th, 2024. We need to go out for an RFP for this kid worker, adult and youth services. And that RFP will go out after our December meeting. And we need a committee of graders for that, or evaluators for that RFP. So the timeline goes out in December. We'll get bids in January. We will grade them. We will announce at the March meeting who wins the RFP. And that contract will start July 1st. So is there anybody that would love to be on that committee?
Does it have to be from the board? It can be people outside of this board.
I don't know that. I know we have to follow Lakeland's policy, and that's what I was trying to find earlier before this meeting. I think last time we did it, we had 4 people, me being one of them. I know since the youth services are being RFP'd in conjunction with the other ones, we have to have somebody from the youth committee, if we have a youth committee. And we do have a volunteer person in Chris Stroll that is going to do that. So right now, we do have a committee of me, Chris, and Carol Tracy. So if anybody else would like to do it, I will be there to guide you through the process. Like I said, I'm gonna do it as well, so if you read through their proposal and can't find some information, I'll either find it for you or they just didn't have it, so. If anybody wants to volunteer, that would be just great. Otherwise, I will probably reach out to some people, coordinator, one of them, that we just talk to maybe convince you to do it, but. I don't.
If it needs to know.
Okay, I figured, I know Jamie and you had talked and you had mentioned something about it, I haven't talked to you since then, so. We do need, I think, at least 4, and like I said, I need to read Lakeland's policy on service provider contracts and how they're evaluated, how many people there are, but. At this point, we got me, Chris, and Carol, and maybe Courtney, so. If anybody, like I said, from the other one, if anybody wants to volunteer. Great. Casey, you said? Okay, so anyway, that's that, more information to come in December, so we just need to form those 2 committees, and I didn't figure I'd get volunteers, so we did ahead of time.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. All right. Any questions for Tony on his 2 reports? All right, if not, item 11, any other business? Any member want to share something concerning LWE, not about your life, but just concerning LWE, okay? All right, if not,
Good night, sure.
yes, go ahead, Chris.
I want to say thank you to Lori for all of her years of service. We have sat on lots of committees. We've screamed and laughed, and I appreciate all that you have done. You are an asset to WIOA and also to CEFS, so thank you for all your service.
Yes. You will be missed. And you can cry if you want to, because you will be missed. All right.
Can I share some room?
Yes, Courtney, go ahead.
Our monthly webinar coming up September 28th, last Thursday of the month, 10:30. It's focused on manufacturing, the critical role it plays in our regional economy. This month of October, the state of Illinois celebrates manufacturing the whole month. National Manufacturing is the first Friday of October. We've got the Effingham County's Trade Skills and Manufacturing Day on the October 5th. For this webinar, we're going to talk about a RISE grant that the Business Navigator Alliance received to try to introduce the aerospace industry into South Central Illinois. We are partnering with the Ohio Aerospace Institute for this one. This would bring procurement opportunities and supply chain opportunities through NASA, Air Force, and Department of Defense to our local businesses. So businesses that may already be participating in this industry, or a quick retool, a pivot, training needs, most certainly for that those applications as well, to maybe diversify their offerings, their portfolios, and to dive into another industry. Currently have a consultant that is surveying companies throughout the 6-county region, trying to see those that they're again already in the or have the quick retooling or capability to be able to do it. This is kind of a 3-phase thing. This is the first phase that we're working on and doing this industrial study. We're going to talk about that on the 28th. And also I have Zach Kennedy from the University of Illinois. He's an extension specialist He's gonna do a data analysis to show that critical role that manufacturers do play in our region. He did an excellent job back in April for data for decision makers. We had a lot of great feedback from that one, so very much looking forward to his data analysis on this one too. The only other thing, the business resiliency grants, Effingham County, we're running through that. Our deadline to be able to apply is this Friday, but all the other counties and communities here within LWIA 23 are eligible if you're working through that in your respectful areas. We did put out an info webinar last week. It's on YouTube, it's on our website, or I think it might even, it's on the county's website, it might even be on the Business Navigator Alliance website. Although it speaks specifically towards Effingham County and the way that we're organizing our application, it is applicable to the other communities with the information in there too. So if something you want to look at or send to other people, it does fit for the region as a whole.
Great, great, good information. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other comments? Anyone have? Jerry, I want to say thank you. It's a good presentation.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, and look forward to it. Yeah, great.
Can you tell he's been in front of a classroom before?
Once or twice.
Yeah. So, all right, if there's nothing else, no other public comment, do we have a motion to adjourn? Chris said she wanted to make a motion. Mike said he wanted to second it, okay? All in favor, say aye. Thank you for coming. Have a nice Thanksgiving. All right. Thank you.